northeast and barely looked back. He was uninterested in the family business and a disappointment to his tough, bootstrapping father. An intensely private man who assiduously avoided the public eye, Frederick became a prolific arts patron and collector, with a passion for restoring historic properties stretching from France's Côte d'Azur to New York's Upper East Side. Their father saw glimpses of himself in his rebellious second son, Charles, whom Fred Koch molded from an early age into his successor. After 8 years in Boston studying chemical and nuclear engineering at MIT and working for a consulting firm, Charles returned to Wichita to learn the intricacies of his family's oil refining, engineering, and ranching businesses. David and Bill followed Charles and their father before him to MIT, and eventually they too joined the family business, but that's where their paths diverged. David became Charles's loyal wingman, while Bill, still nursing childhood resentments, grew at first into a gadfly, and then, in his brother's eyes, a hostile presence within the company. The public would know Bill best for his flamboyant escapades, as a collector of fine wines who embarked on a litigious crusade against counterfeit vino, as a playboy with a history of messy romantic entanglements, and as a yachtsman who won the America's Cup in 1992, an experience he likened, unforgettably, to the sensation of 10,000 orgasms. Charles and David, meanwhile, built their father's Midwestern empire, with about $250 million in yearly sales and 650 employees in the late 1960s, into a corporate behemoth Fred Koch would scarcely recognize. A company with $115 billion in annual revenues, more than 100,000 employees, and a presence in 60 countries. Under Charles's leadership, Koch Industries grew into the second largest private corporation in the United States. Only the Minneapolis-based agribusiness giant Cargill is bigger. Koch made its money the old-fashioned way: oil, chemicals, cattle, timber, and in its dizzying rise, the brothers amassed fortunes estimated at $36 billion apiece, tying them for 6th place among the wealthiest men on the planet. Bill ranks 329th on Forbes's list of the world's billionaires. Charles and David preferred to operate quietly, to run, as David once put it, the biggest company you've never heard of. But Koch Industries products touch everyone's lives, from the gas in our tanks to the steak on our forks and the fertilizer that helps our crops grow, and from the drywall, window panes, and carpets in our homes and offices to the brawny paper towels and Dixie cups we keep in the pantry. The company ranks among the world's largest commodities traders, operates 3 ranches that sprawl over 425,000 acres, and processes some 750,000 barrels of crude oil daily. A day doesn't pass when we don't encounter a Koch product, though we often probably don't know it. Koch Industries is omnipresent, but the Kochs managed to remain so under the radar that many Americans confuse the pronunciation of their surname with that of a former New York City mayor, Ed Koch, rather than pronouncing it like the soft drink, Coke. David has lived the quintessential billionaire's life. He traded provincial Wichita for New York City, where his name is etched into the facades of some of Manhattan's most important cultural landmarks, including the Lincoln Center Theater that's home to the New York City Ballet. When not in his oceanfront mansion in Southampton, his Palm Beach villa, or Aspen Ski Lodge, David and his family reside in a storied Park Avenue high-rise, former home to John D. Rockefeller Jr., among other heirs to vast industrial fortunes. Charles, by contrast, remained in his hometown, a city with an unassuming, head-down and entrepreneurial character that matched his own. He lives in a modern, boxy mansion of stone and glass on the same compound where he grew up, just the multi-billionaire next door in his East Wichita neighborhood, where strip malls and chain restaurants have overtaken the once wide-open terrain. Schooled by his conservative father in the evils of government, Charles gravitated to libertarianism, a philosophy that advocates the maximum of personal and corporate freedom and the most minimal government, if only to tend to the defense of these liberties. He grew to believe zealously in the power of markets to guide human behavior, and to loathe the government regulations and subsidies that distorted markets and behavior itself by trying to impose false order.